your girl Jackie. I know. Welcome back to today's video. Today I'm going to be discussing a topic that probably is one of my biggest makeup concerns and troubles, next to smile lines. We've already done a video on that. If you have not seen it, check it out. I'll put it up here somewhere at the top. I don't know, go find it. I'm a part of that weird, rare 5%, I don't know, percent of people that when you put on a full face of makeup, right around the cupid's bow, it starts to separate. And I have no clue why. You know that line that you get right at the top of the cupid's bow? Makeup always separates there, no matter how bulletproof it is. Even if the foundation that I'm using is pretty bulletproof, I notice that if I'm wearing it for a long periodic time, like maybe 5+ hours, it will start to separate and it looks like you have a mustache, girl. I managed to find some ways that I can cover it up and help disguise it with makeup. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. We is all up close and personal. Don't be talking about my upper lip hair. Some of us are still celebrating Movember. It's very important to start off with a primer, but not just any primer. You want something that's pore filling. The one that I'm gonna be using today is from Tarte. This is the Clean Slate Primer, and as you can see, it has that kind of silicone, really soft feel where literally it just fills in things. You see how instantly that made my hand smoother? Yeah, we're gonna do that to our face now. So I'm rubbing it in and applying that into my skin. With problem areas like the cupid's bow, it's really important that you add a small amount to that isolated area. It just needs a little extra care. So I'm just gonna take a small little droplet of that primer, rub my fingers together and put that right on my cupid's bow area and smooth it down. And I'm also patting it into my smile lines. That's also a problem area for me. As you can see, it already looks super smooth. We are ready for foundation. Just know that you can use any foundation that is compatible with your skin type. But for those of you guys that have this issue in the cupid's bow, nothing is going to work as good as something that's long wearing or like super mattifying. Because foundations that are like that skin-like and they're kind of dewy, they're not meant to be like set in place for hours and hours and hours. One of my favorite long wearing foundations is from Catlong, the Lock It Tattoo foundation. I also really like the Estee Lauder Double Wear. I wear the shades Sandalwood and Estee Lauder, and I also wear the shade Neutral Deep 78 in Catlong. When you put these on, they don't move, okay? When I need to be on point for like 8+ hours, I'm reaching for these. For my drugstore babes, the Neutrogena Nourishing Longwear is also a great long wearing option. I wear the shade Chestnut and the Pure Form 1 Liquid. These two are actually a lot alike. I'm gonna take a light layer of my setting powder. I like setting my primers because I have oily skin. This is an optional step. Just gonna go over that primer to help lock it into place. And if you are my complexion or darker, yes, you will be looking eggshell white just for a minute. It's just for the cause, okay? It's just for the culture. I'm going to take my Catlong and I'm going to put that on the back of my hands, and using stippling motions, I'm packing that on right at the upper lip area. The reason why I like to stipple is it holds the foundation a little bit better. When you swipe, you're shearing it down. When you stipple, you are building it up. This shade is slightly darker than my skin tone because girl, she waiting for her winter foundation shipment to come in the mail. Now this next step is super important. This is just as important as the primer and the type of foundation you use. You need a concealer, preferably one that's really thick, really creamy, and that has full coverage. Don't ask me why foundations aren't enough. I know that concealers and foundations are typically formulated the same, but in my opinion, that little bitty extra bit of concealer is what really locks it into place. And you might want to put just a teeny bit around that mouth area if you do have smile lines. And then I'm patting that in with the Beauty Blender. This is damp, by the way. Then I'm setting it with translucent powder one more time. And that is it. Hey, where you going? What's the rush? Check out some of my previous uploads. I'm sure you're going to enjoy them. And I'm sure if you're not already subscribed, you already did, right? Okay, all right. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.